All right, I got my bottle of wine. It's midday, and I'm gonna answer a bunch of questions that I'm excited to answer and talk about, and also I'm a bit nervous. I'll be honest. So let's get into it. It's the first time I've ever done anything like this. Just so you're warned, I usually turn off the air condition for my videos, but if I did that for as long as I think this is going to take, this would be like a HollyHobs "How Did He Die" video. So let's just suffer through that because I'll have to too. My wife made me a list of just the ones that got a lot of traction, and we're going to start from there. And I guess I'll stop when I'm either too drunk to continue or I'm done with the bottle. So we'll see what happens then. Let's do this. Jake Rock asks, what was the Beatles song that made you a fan? I think that's actually a pretty great question, and it's also very easy for me to answer, which is why I think it's pretty great. The song that made me a fan was Hey Jude. And it's not in the normal way, I guess, if you were to say, I listened to this song and I fell in love with it. I actually was raised on the song. You see, my dad, I would say he's probably a bigger Beatles fan than I am. And before I could really talk or anything, he would have me singing Hey Jude. It's an old memory of mine. Singing that song. I didn't know the Beatles. I didn't even really know the words that well. But that's the song, and I would sing it in my little monster raspy little voice. Who knew that I would end up actually honing a skill like that? But yeah, it's Hey Jude, and if I think I might actually have some footage for that, which is kind of cool.
Put your hat on and put your scarf away.
The resumption of an equitable temperature asks, favorite Beatles album and also favorite solo Beatles discography. For Beatles album, I think it's a toss-up for me between Revolver and the White Album. Revolver because, and I know I'm supposed to say Sgt. Pepper's, but you know, that's not my favorite album. I mean, it's a fantastic, amazing album, but it doesn't. Revolver, just the way it starts. I don't know, this is like the American Psycho thing, and I'm nothing like that guy. But just the way it starts with Taxman, it's like, damn, if that isn't so 60s and so cool, man, that it's so muted. Just all the songs in that really have an incredible flow. I honestly feel like people should be talking about Revolver as much as they talk about Sgt. Pepper's. Yes, Sgt. Pepper did many, many leaps, but I think Sgt. Pepper did leaps because it was a lot of Paul McCartney getting into his older style of tunes. And they were very, very fantastic. And then John Lennon comes out with A Day in the Life, and it's just, come on now. That could have been the only song on the album, and I think it would have been just as popular. But I think Revolver is amazing. And why I always mention the White Album isn't because I want to be some sort of contrarian, because I know historically everybody hated it, or whatever, but I loved it. I think it's an easy question for me to answer because what's your favorite Beatles album? The one with the most songs on it. I mean, right? I know that's not the most insightful reason on why I like something, but man, come on. Even the shittiest Beatles songs are fantastic to me, whatever they might be. I think it's just, they had a lot of magic. And if I was to rate the albums, it would either be which one had the most or which one, I don't know, I could groove to the whole way through. And it's either Revolver or White Album for me, for sure. Harry Noak asks, Ever accidentally read gay Beatles fan fiction? Ever horribly regretted reading gay Beatles fan fiction? Okay. No, I have not accidentally or deliberately read any gay Beatles fan fiction, but it's no better time than now to find out what exactly that looks like. Let me see. And similarly, user Julia asks, do you believe in Mick Lennon? So I will, let's see what we got here. Mick Lennon, a ship that involves Paul McCartney and John Lennon of the best band ever, damn right, the Beatles. The shippers believed that they had anything beyond a friendship, believed they had a beautiful relationship. The best fanfic of this ship is Red Hall. Red Hall McLennan. Summary. Master John and Mistress Yoko are the proud owners of a profitable establishment where sexual fantasies are the only reality available. Why is that? Why is that the only reality available? What? It's just some it's just some building on the edge of the universe where the only reality available is sexual fantasy. Okay. Dreams of sexual slavery, submission, domination, pain, and pleasure flourish within the walls of this club. What does a place like this have to do with a certain hardworking, ambitious, and straight Liverpudlian with doe eyes and dark hair? The answer is just a click away. Okay, I can click away now. But beware, by clicking this story, you will be entering the Red Hall. Think about it. It's going over my head, I think. You may click it, but I want your choice to be safe and sane. Before you know, once you're in, there's no coming back. This is terrifying. Why did they write it like that? Okay, if there are any kids watching this, and you know what I mean by kids, seriously, maybe I'll leave a link onto where you can skip. All right, we're going into the Red Hall. The Red Hall prologue, the Red Hall part 1. Jesus Christ, this is gonna be crazy. Okay, adult content notice. Yes, I am at least 18 years old. I promise you, I'm doing this in real time. I'm not a homophobe. Don't give me any of that in the comments. Gay is beautiful and straight is beautiful and whatever you want. You live your life and be happy the way you are. But I mean, I love the Beatles. I don't know. I love them that much. Okay, here we go. Need more wine. I'm so nervous. Okay. Oh no. Oh my God. Listen, if I was a very dark-skinned man, my face would be red. Jesus Christ. Okay. Come on. Be a man. Be a man. Okay. Do it for the people. They wanted to know if you regret it. I think I do, but... No. So basically it's Brian Epstein in a magical world where the Beatles have to do stuff with him, and Paul is asking Brian, you said things get rough in there. You also mentioned spanking. Are they going to hurt me? Brian's eyes focused Paul with silent, predatory admiration. Nothing you can't handle, Brian says, being the tough lad I know you are. Paul responds, right. Paul dodged his eyes from Brian and stared out of the window once again. He tried to shrug thoughts of this secret and sexual society that promoted orgies of his mind, but to no avail. And Paul shuddered, because in the end, Brian had silently answered his question about whether or not he would be hurt. Paul shivered at that implied, promising, and unnerving yes. First off, this is really weirdly written. It's such a strain, because I don't know, maybe if it was originally written in a different language or something, but it's not. It kind of. I mean, you read it and you tell me. I'm not reading anymore. This shit. Why is it so rapey? Okay, so like it could be gay, and it could be. It could be a homosexual. How do we do this? Damn it. Okay, it could be a homosexual relationship, a fantasy relationship between Brian Epstein and Paul McCartney. But why is it so rapey? Like, why is that? That doesn't seem okay. Why is Brian Epstein has to take? This is how they decided to write this fan fiction, which is to say that they couldn't just make them in this not real fan fiction. They couldn't just not make them gay. They had to come up with a pan-dimensional universe with a sex establishment on the edge of said universe where Paul is still straight, but he has to. He's compelled by the walls of this place that John and Yoko run, because they're not. Forget about peace and love and imagine. It's just we gotta have a sex building at the end of the universe, and Paul has. All right. To answer your question, what was your name, brother? To answer your question, Harry Noak, I have not accidentally read gay Beatles fan fiction. I have read deliberately gay Beatles fan fiction, and have I horribly regretted reading gay Beatles fan fiction? I regret the egotistical feeling that I could probably have written it better. So that's mean. This was nice. It was really well done, and it was beautiful, and I'm gonna leave a link in the description. This is too much. Oh my god, you know what? Of all these years, I mean it, all these years, I did not know that this existed. You know, I expected it to be kind of romantic. That's what I thought, because it says McLennan, and then I looked it up, but it's not romantic. It's like, I mean, I guess to sum it up, it's predatory admiration. Brian Epstein Brian focused his eyes on Paul with silent, predatory admiration. Yeah, that doesn't sound healthy. You could be gay and you could be the Beatles, but if you're looking at somebody with predatory admiration, what the fuck? That's not right, man. That's not right. Yes, I horribly regret reading that. I can only assume it gets worse. That was chapter 1. All right. I know. I'm still just a kid, man, because like I read your guys's I read your guys's usernames, and they still make me laugh. So this guy, Dickface. Hello, Dickface. You made it onto the show. How are you, Dickface? You dick. All right. Dickface says, "Who is your favorite Beatle? Which do you think you're the most like?" Favorite Beatle is hard, and I'm not trying to escape the question. So just give me a break on that one. But I really like the question, which do you think you are the most like? You ever watch The Office and everybody like laughs at Michael Scott? You know, he's just a silly guy, but he has a lot of heart. And everybody thinks that they're like Jim. They're just like always relaxed and everything's perfect and they always know how to react to things. I feel like that's where I'm gonna go with this, where I'm gonna say I'm more like Jim than I am like Michael. But in reality, I'm probably like Michael. And you're gonna have to figure out, I guess, who Michael is. But um, who do you which do you think you're the most like? I think I'm like John. And the reason I think that I'm more like John, I'm not anything like John, but what I'm saying is the reason I think I'm more like John than the rest of them is because Paul McCartney is a musician. George Harrison, musician. Ringo, the best drummer in the world. But John Lennon, I believe that if John didn't find music, it would have been something else. And I think it's evident when you look at what he ended up doing. He wrote, he was a musician, he sang in the best band in the world, he was an actor. I mean, John John needed artistic outlets. And I am that way too. I just want to be a good person and I want to do my art. And I think that's why I have something. I think that's why I think I'm closer to John Lennon than I am to any of them. Because he needed art, any form. He was an artist, like physically drawing. He liked Elvis and he liked being chased by girls, so he got into music. And when that wasn't scratching the itch, man, he went into everything that he could get his hands on. Music opened the door for John Lennon to be John Lennon. I think that's what's so cool about him, what makes him so intriguing to me as a person. You know, life is long. You don't have to be one thing. You don't have to be anything. But you get to decide, no matter what they told you you were supposed to be. Josh Levinsky asks, how did you get to be the shit? That's very nice of you. I'm glad that you guys like the channel. I really am. And I'm glad that it's like, yeah, come on. This is awesome. This is like the coolest thing in the world, that people like what I'm doing. Like, any artist out there beyond this stupid camera, any artist out there, this is amazing, right? Like, this is like the coolest thing ever. That people give a damn about what the hell I have to say. I mean, I've never promoted myself to know anything. I ain't no expert. Everything I find is on the internet or in books that I have. It ain't. I'm just doing my best, and I love music, and I love art, and I love acting, and I just found something that I was like, well, we could do this about the Beatles, and that would be really legit, dude. Like, that would be so cool. But how? The how of this question actually really matters to me. Last year, around September, let me tell you, I think I know a lot about how to be what everybody else needs me to be, and what I want to be too. But as I said in the last video, man, I gave up. And when I gave up, I broke bridges. I broke best friendships with people. And one day I was coming home, you know, money in my pocket, money in the bank. I got a house. We got cars. We got a puppy. You know, but money didn't buy me that type of happiness that I was looking for. As much as I tried to suppress my desire or my need to create art, it came after me like a ghost, like a haunting. It wasn't slow. or creeping, and then I wasn't starting to get like depressed or something like that. It wasn't a chemical thing. Man, something happened. September 22nd. I still reference the day to my wife. September 22nd, 2016 was the worst day in my life, because randomly this panic came over me, my life, and it said, brother, you gotta do something. This is it. This is all you get. And no matter how much you've made, what you can buy, that doesn't mean anything anymore. Outside of security, it doesn't mean anything if you're not doing what you need to be doing. So my perspective on YouTube was a little bit different. Aside from like tutorials and stuff, I always thought it was for kids. Like it was. I mean, listen, I'm an idiot. I'm not. I'm still just a kid at heart. But like, I thought it was for like the Jake Paul kind of things and dabbing or whatever people are doing these days. I don't know. And look at the band I talk about, for God's sakes. Like, obviously, I'm a bit out of my depth when it comes to modern society or whatever. I don't know how many times I told you I don't know how to use that damn Twitter. But I was watching a video that I saw on Reddit with H3H3. And yes, like, you know, part of the charm of that channel, I suppose, is, you know, roasting people and sort of having a laugh at people. But I think I saw some heart in there. A lot of it, actually. And I saw the video where they were getting sued by that idiot. And, you know, when you can't give, like when people, you can't give money and you can't give this or you can't give that, but you can give energy and you can give love. So you guys do that for me in the comments. You send me a comment and it says something nice, and damn it, that's awesome. Like, come on now, this is YouTube. I was expecting to hear a whole bunch of nasty crap about me as a person, but like, I decided, I was like, you know what, man, the only channel I was ever subscribed to was H3H3. And I was like, I want to write him a song. And I wrote him a song, and I thought it was adorable. And then there was this video of Gila crying, and I was like, damn, that guy is a jerk. The guy who's suing them. What a piece of garbage. So it affected my heart, and it's a person I don't know, and I think that's cool. What you know, it's a bit like charity. It's you give what you have to give. I mean, you know, if you have money, then you give money. If you can write a song with your guitar and you can sing it and you can record it, well, you give that too, if you can. And that's what I did. And I wrote her and them a song because it made me feel bad. A lot of the comments were saying things like, wow, this sounds a lot like the Beatles. And I was thinking to myself, like, first off, that's an incredible compliment. I don't think people realize like what a compliment that is. But it got me thinking, you know, because I put out like a music video I had made of like an original song called Evil Witch a while back, and it wasn't getting any traction. That's how YouTube is, though. Like, you can't just expect to like put out something, and unless it's amazing, unless it's the coolest thing in the world, it's not going to be, you know, I'm just a kid with a camera. I know I'm 29, but you know what it's like to be in your 20s these days. We never grew up. We never got a chance to grow up. So I did that, and I love the compliments, and I love the I didn't realize there was that many people who love the Beatles on YouTube, and in this kind of perspective, and then they would say that, and they would come up with it. I was like, yo, you have no idea how much I like the Beatles. So I decided to do Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, and that kind of did okay. And then I did the Yoko Ono one, and damn, that divided everybody. Aside from like a lot, most of them are really nice comments. Like, you know, like, thank you for doing this. Thank you for being on the the fence or whatever. You know, I get comments daily. Aside from, people misunderstood a thing I did, which is I listed 3 bad things that the society would consider Yoko Ono did. And they said I did them out of order, and yes, I did them out of order. I did them by what people would think was the worst. It's a interest tactic to make people enjoy what the hell they're watching. It was a 10-minute video about one person. Like, you got to make it kind of interesting. Aside from that kind of criticism, I got it from one side, which is saying you're being horrible to her, and I get it on another side saying you're being too easy on her. And that's when I knew, because I tried to do something in the in between, and I got destroyed by everyone on the other side. So, I like being a moderate. I like to take everything in stride, and I like to imagine that I don't know anything about anything. And with new information, you gather a new perspective, and that's cool to me. But yeah, honestly, it kind of all started with H3H3. I loved what they were doing. It was really funny, and I thought really insightful. And I'm not a funny person per se. I'm not really a goofster and a gaffster, but I actually emailed Ethan when I made that song, The Ballad of Ethan and Elo, and he actually responded, and he says, "Wow, dude, like, I really enjoyed that. We really enjoyed that, and thank you for so much for making it. If could we use it in a goof or a gaff?" And none of that ever panned out, but that's okay, because that was kind of like the first. That was the first idea that I had, that I was like, I mean, I got a guy with 4 million subscribers to not only respond to my video, right? I mean, he must know more than I do about this stuff, but to even be subscribed to me, that's amazing. And I took that for what it was, and should be grateful for that, and I am. Another thing is, have you guys heard of that channel Bingin' with Bobish? I reached out to him on Reddit, and I actually just asked him, I was like, "Hey man, could you take a look at this 5-minute video I made?" Because he's actually very knowledgeable about film, not just about food. And that guy took the time to respond and give me criticism on like what I should do with the lighting, and maybe a compliment or two. It was amazing. Like, these people have millions and millions of subscribers, but still behave down to earth like the rest of us, and that's really amazing to me. So, although I never really had any direct help, this was my introduction into YouTube, which was the kindness of strangers, which is why I did that thing for that kid, Mr. Greif. You remember on While My Guitar Gently Weeps, at the end of it, I said I found this kid and stuff. Do you know why I did that? It was because when I was first starting this, man, any community can be toxic, but there are a few bands that are loved as much as the Beatles, and with love comes very strong emotions. So I got a lot of negativity in the beginning, a ton, honestly. Like, it was ridiculous, and most people would have given up. But that kid on the Beatles subreddit, he was so positive. He kept saying, "Hey buddy, I'm doing this too, and let's fight the good fight and do what we would like to do," and that kind of stuff. And then, man, I thought, the big guys aren't helping me. That's okay. But be the change you want to see, right? You want help? Don't expect it. You're not entitled to it. But the first thing you've got to do is you got to help others where you can. And that's where I did it for him. Tim asks, is Paul dead? I knew I was going to get this question. No, I don't believe Paul McCartney is dead. And I don't believe in the doppelganger situation. But in response to that, man, I have such a fun idea for Is Paul Dead video. I cannot wait till the point where I'm capable of manifesting the idea I have for that video. It won't be like anything, the idea I have, it won't be like anything I think we've ever seen in reference to that. To put it mildly, it's a false trailer for a movie that'll never be made about the mythology of the death of Paul McCartney, or the fake death of Paul McCartney, or whatever the case is. Christopher Evers. Christopher Evers. Christopher Evers is the guy you all can thank for egging me on to do this Q&A. He kept asking, and I eventually responded to him. I was like, yeah, but Chris, like, what are they gonna ask me? You know, like, but I was wrong, and he was right, and he knows. I mean, you guys asked me a bunch of legit questions, and honestly, it's just a great experience all around. So Chris asked a bunch of questions, so I'm just gonna read them all and see which ones I want to answer, because you'll see. If all Beatles members were still alive, do you think they would regroup? Are you becoming an actor? Because I would gladly personally hand you an Oscar. Where is A Day in the Life video? Why do you like the Beatles so much in comparison to other artists? Is YouTube your full-time job? If not, what is? What is your name, HollyHobs? Are you even real? Am I even real? Starts listening to Within You Without You. Hilarious comment. Let's see. If all the Beatles members were still alive, do you think they would regroup? Yes. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't know how good it would be or where they would, but I mean, it seems that they had a lot of love, and in my opinion, yeah, of course. Time heals all wounds, right? Are you becoming an actor? And I would give you an answer. That's very nice of you. I used to act in New York. I went. I used to act professionally. I was on a show called Ed on NBC. I was with, like, there were people on there like Michael Ian Black, and that guy from Mad Men with the white hair. It doesn't matter, but yeah, I acted professionally when I was living up there, and I had to move for family reasons, so I kind of gave up on that, and then because I started all of this, I got a new boost of confidence. And I was talking to a friend at a party, and he works in the film industry in New York, and he was telling me about this project he was working on, and we got to talking, and he said it hasn't been cast yet or whatever, and I said, dude, like, can I audition? Can I do a video audition? And he says, yeah, like, I can put you in touch with the casting director of this film he's working on, and we can see what happens. And boom, boom, bam, I got the role, and I'm filming next year in New York in February, and it's the lead. And it's low budget, but it's a full featured film with, like, I mean, here I am all these years later, back in the groove. And I honestly have this whole channel and all of you guys to thank for that. And it just, man, sometimes all you need is a little confidence. You could do a lot with that. And it gave me the kick in the pants I needed to go pursue the things that I want to do. Yeah, are you becoming an actor? You could say that, but I think I've always been an actor. Where is the Day in the Life video? It's probably going to be the last one that I do of this whole series. The reason is because every week I do a new video, and every week I want to get better. And every week I learned so much more than I learned the last week. A Day in the Life. I don't want to make you wait. I don't want to wait. But I want that to be the best video I've ever made. Right? I don't want any audio issues. I don't want any visual issues. The amount of mistakes I've made, even when I knew what to do, it takes, it's hard. A Day in the Life. That's going to be the best video I've ever made. I know it. And it's all ramping up to that. Why do you like the Beatles so much in comparison to other artists? Because the Beatles are the best. End of story. Is YouTube your full-time job? If not, what is? YouTube is not my full-time job. My full-time job is convincing elderly millionaire women to leave me their inheritance. All right. You guys asked a ton of wonderful questions, and I want you to know I read them all. But I can't make this video 2 hours long. And some of the questions were better than maybe the ones I'm gonna put up as the answers, because some of the answers weren't as good as the question. You know, I sometimes I think maybe it's not as interesting as I thought it was gonna be. And I'm almost done with this bottle, and I'm certainly feeling it. I really look forward to the future we have together on this channel. Big things are coming. And I'm glad you guys are along for the ride.